Don't focus on your thorns. Focus on the abundance of revelation. Let your eyes be on the things that God is doing, not on the things that devil is doing. Why you see Christians murmur and complain, attack pastors, because once anything happened to a church member, the first person he will attack is the pastor. The next person is his fellow believers in church. Then you hear something like, you see, in this church they don't care. But when we sit down now to compare notes, you find out that the person that is saying they don't care is being cared for the most. Let's know who the real enemy is. It is not God. It is not men of God. It is not true brethren. It is Satan and his cohorts. But this is what I'm saying. To every abundance of blessing, abundance of something that God have given to you, there's also somewhere a thorn in the flesh. Why? To remind you that you are still human. Because there's a way you will have it all without a thorn. Something will climb your head. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. There is no rose without thorns. Have you ever seen a rose? If it's truly a rose, there will be thorns. Somebody says some have roses, but no bed. Some have beds, but no rose. Now listen to me. Even if you have bed of roses, you have endured the thorns to be able to get the rose. Because there is no rose tree without thorns, if you have seen it. What gets the lesson that is in it? In the midst of difficulties, there is beauty out of it. In the midst of your affliction, there is multiplication coming out of it. Are you aware that what you call the oyster and other precious things, they don't come through a smooth process, it's through rough process? Are you aware gold is gold because of the heat it can endure? Silver is silver because of the quality of heat it can endure. Every man has a thorn in the flesh. As you are seated here, you have your own. I have my own. But you must understand why thorn in the flesh. The reason is because there is rose somewhere. You are complaining you don't have a job, but you are eating 7 times. But there are people that they have job, they are not eating 7 times. You are complaining you don't have a job, but you buy Coke and suya every now and then. Have you ever thought how people will just see you, they just give to you without you asking? It's called the abundance of grace. You are complaining you are not in school. Your problem is that I'm not in school. I've not entered university. And because I've not entered university, I will not come to church anymore. Are you aware there are people who are in the university that want to jump out? Listen, everybody has a thorn in the flesh. And when you don't know the reason for your thorn in the flesh, that's when you begin to murmur against God and abuse God. And listen, this is my advice this night. Don't focus on the thorn. Focus on the abundance of revelation given to you. Then you will glory in your thorn in the flesh. Because the thorn in the flesh is there because of the abundance of revelation. So when you say, I don't need that thorn, then the revelation should also go. What you have in abundance. Paul's own was abundant of revelation. Somebody's own was an abundance of money. Are you aware there are those they can have all the whole money in this world, but they will not have children? And then gossipers will begin to gossip. Please listen to me. You hear the man have used all his children in the realm of the spirit to convert them to as if there is something like that. How many of you, be very honest, there's an area in your life you have the greatest victory, but there's another area of your life you think you should have the greatest victory. That's where you are suffering the most. And people are wondering, even this small something, you cannot do it. Have you seen an adult that cannot cross gutter? And children will jump and come back and say, Uncle jump. The adult is still standing. Now everybody listen. What is thorn in the flesh? Or let me put it this way. What is Paul's thorn in the flesh? Because you must understand what thorn in the flesh is. The phrase thorn in the flesh is used figuratively in the Bible, or it is an idiomatic expression. It was not a physical thorn. Please get that. It was not a physical illness or sickness. Paul was not suffering of any sickness or disease. Please hear me. Rather, it is a figure of speech or idiomatic expression which refers to difficult situations or difficult people that causes pain and make things to be difficult or grievous for others. For example, a person can be said to be a pain in the neck. It's still the same thing. So Paul's thorn in the flesh was not a physical thorn or pain choking him or one mysterious pain. No, he's talking about difficult situations or difficult people that causes him pain and make things not to go well for him. That's what Paul was referring to as thorn in the flesh. Now let's go into the Bible and look at how this word thorn in the flesh has been used in other places in the Bible. Numbers chapter 33 verse 55. Because Bible will always explain Bible. Hello? Most times I don't like using dictionary to explain Bible. Bible itself is enough to explain itself. Let's go. Numbers chapter 33 verse 55. This is a story of the children of Israel trying to possess the land of Canaan. Let's read 1 to go. But if you will not drive out the inhabitant of the land from before you, then it shall come to pass that those which you let remain of them shall be a prick in your eyes. So what is this prick in their eyes? And thorns in your side, and shall vex you in the land wherein you shall dwell. Can you see the way it's used? Now the thorns in your side is the people, not a physical thorn, not a sickness. Are you seeing it? Now can you read this thing and assume that is sickness that will come upon the children of Israel? No. The thorns in your side is talking about the people of the land, the inhabitant, the former inhabitant of the land that they could not drive away. So they will remain as a thorn in the flesh. So thorn in the flesh here is people that made life difficult for the children of Israel. Ask your neighbor, are you a thorn in my flesh? Ask your neighbor, say neighbor's neighbor, are you a thorn in my flesh? Whose thorn are you? Ask your neighbor, whose thorn are you? Now let's look at another place. Joshua chapter 23 verse 13. Joshua 23 verse 13. Know for a certain that the Lord your God will no more drive out any of these nations from before you, but there shall be snares and traps unto you. So what is snares and traps? People they could not drive away. Not sickness. People. Okay. And scorches in your side, and thorns in your eyes, until you perish off this good land which the Lord your God has given you. You are seeing the word thorn again. Thorns. Okay. Let's go to another place. Judges chapter 2 verse 3. Because most times, most theologians have misinterpreted Paul thorn in the flesh as sickness. And if you ask any average Christian, they will tell you that Paul thorn in the flesh is sickness. That God gave him sickness to keep him humble. Then why will you pray away what God gave you? If God gave you, why are you now going to God to take away what he gave you? You see, most times, let me say this, and in most churches, they serve a God they don't understand. Many people worship a misunderstood God. The God they don't understand. Let's read. Wherefore I also said, I will not drive them out from before you, but they shall be as thorns in your sight, and their God shall be a snare unto you. So what is thorns here? People that made life miserable for the children of Israel. Okay. Let's go to Ezekiel 28 verse 24. I want to spend time to show you this. Ezekiel. And there shall be no more a prickling briar unto the house of Israel, nor any grieving. Are you seeing it? Grieving what? Thorns of all that are around about them, that despise them, and they shall know that I am the Lord God. So what is thorn here? People that cause pain, people that despise them. So not sickness. So I don't want us to accommodate sickness and say my own thorn in the flesh is this sickness. God have given it to me to keep me humble. Now please everybody look at me. In context, Paul called this thorn in the flesh a messenger of Satan that buffets him. Go back to 2 Corinthians chapter 12 from verse 7. Lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of revelation, there was given me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. So we have eliminated sickness from the equation of thorn in the flesh. It's not sickness, it's not disease, but rather difficult situations, difficult people that causes Paul pain and suffering in life and ministry. Now the Greek word transliterated as buffet is kolophizo, which means to strike with fists, give one a blow with fists, to maltreat with violence and harsh language, or treatment arising from naughtiness and contempt. Somebody giving you a harsh treatment. So Paul said, messenger of Satan was sent to buffet me. That is to give me a harsh treatment. Who is this messenger of Satan? Let's find out. The Greek word for messenger in this verse is angelos, meaning a messenger, an envoy, one who is sent, or a sent one, an angel, a messenger of God, or a pastor. But in this verse, it's not a messenger of God. In this verse, it's not a pastor. It is written, a messenger of Satan, angelos, a sent one from Satan. Because a messenger of Satan is a messenger from Satan. It is Bible. Paul didn't say a messenger of God. He said a messenger of who? Satan. So Paul, torn in the flesh, was actually a messenger of Satan, sent for one assignment, to give Paul a harsh treatment. So Satan can really send people to trouble you. You can have all the intelligence in this world, but any building you enter, wahala. Or any neighbor, anybody that is the one that is a Bedima one, that will be your neighbor. You pack out and go to another compound. You find out that it's just that the face changed, but the same attitude. It's a messenger of Satan, sent to buffet you. It can't be from God. God cannot send people to give his children harsh treatment. How many of you have noticed that there are this particular set of people that always trouble you? You go somewhere, you will meet them. You leave Calabar, you go to Yo, you meet them. You meet their type. You leave Yo, you go to Abuja, you meet their type. You are wondering what kind of... There are some sisters here. You keep entering into a relationship, and any relationship you enter look like exactly what you don't like, or what you previously hated, you don't run away from. It's a messenger of Satan, sent to buffet you. They can start being nice. Say, finally, oh, God have delivered me from the hand of Johnson. Next you now hear that Johnson's roaring voice. You are wondering, where is this one coming from? A messenger of Satan, sent to do what? Buffet you. Have you noticed that you change job? The new job you got, your boss is like your former boss. That becomes now a thorn in the flesh. Your former boss can pick on you. Whether you are the one that did it or not, your name must come up. Have you lived with somebody that anytime something goes wrong, is your name they will call? Soup is burning. You hear, hey, Jude will not burn down my house. Oh. Then the children will say, Jude is not around. Shut up your mouth. Is it not because he's not around? That's why. Hello? Everybody has his own thorn in the flesh. This thorn in the flesh is not from God. It's a messenger of Satan to buffet you. Now you are in church. You are a church leader. They made you the head of choir. Notice there are people who are in choir just to mock you. You hear, oh, child. Who even made this one a choir director? They are just there to poke you. They are your thorn in the flesh. Now you now think it's because he's a choir. You now walk up to pastor and say, Pastor, I will not want to be a choir leader again. I want to join temple keepers. As you join temple keepers, one Sunday morning you hear announcement. If you want to join temple keepers, new people that came to church, They join temple keepers. You find out that the first day they will come, you are sweeping, they are laughing. Is that how to sweep? Listen, look beyond the clothes. Deal with the spirits. There's something mocking your life and destiny. It's not the people. As a pastor, I've realized it. I didn't realize it before. Listen, if you check your life, your problem is the same. There's no new problem. It's the same old problem. From time to time, the team will come and do a check. Are you still there? The same problem. Now, in the course of this teaching, I will teach you how to deal with thorns in your flesh. People, things, situations that are like thorn in the flesh. How to deal with them. Are you hearing what I'm saying? But this is what I'm saying. This thorn in the flesh, Paul called it a messenger of Satan sent to buffet me. That's what Paul said. He's a messenger of who? Satan, not a messenger of God. It is a demon, a fallen angel sent by Satan. That is why Paul called him a messenger of Satan, not a messenger from God. Because very soon you hear some people say, didn't God give Paul sickness to keep him humble? Didn't God send a messenger of Satan to buffet him? No. Now everybody listen to me. Yes, God allowed a Satan, or God allowed Satan to send his messenger to Paul. But this demonic messenger is not from God. God allowed it, and there's a reason he allowed it. I had a preacher say this Satan, he dey work for God. And when you look at it critically, it seemed to me that God allowing Satan is actually to make him an unemployed worker without salary. At the end of the day, guess who will lose? Not you, Satan. Because if Satan knew that what he's doing will result to your own advantage, he will not do it. Now go and check. Everybody look at me. If you are head of department, you can relate with this. Go and check. Those people who are mocking you actually made you to be on your toes. They made you to become better. You would have relaxed and decay. But they put you on check. There are some. We were waiting for the day you will come late to finish you. They will rush you. They are just, it looks as if they are setting trap, waiting for you to fall so that they will hammer you. And because you know that they are waiting for your falling, you prepare not to fall. You gallant. You even put weight. I will not fall. You will wait in vain. And because you know that they are ready to mock you, if the department is not growing, you put more effort. True of us. Yeah. So you want God to remove what puts you on check and make you to be at large. Let me tell you, if it is not certain problems, some of you would have been a spoiled brat. God allowed it. Yeah, it's Satan that is causing the problem. But God said, make that Satan stay. If it is not certain crisis in your life, you wouldn't have been sitting here. You would have been sitting in one beer something. There's somebody, every time he's having nightmare, I went to the Lord. I said, Lord, why is he having nightmare? The Lord said to me, he said, that's why you are seeing him in church. And the nightmare is very, and anytime he has bad dream, I will see him in church. The day the bad dream has stopped, I will not see him in church. How many of you have had a situation? You prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. He refused to go away. If you have your way, you will forget God. So God said, okay, since you have started forgetting me small, let this problem stay. To keep you in check, to remind you I still exist. Some of you wouldn't have prayed the way you are praying now if you have all the home money you are looking for. You even call me to shift Thursday service to Friday. See, Paul said, this messenger of Satan was sent to buffet me, lest I exalt myself. See, without this messenger, pride will set in. God said, let it keep you humble. How many of you wish that Satan would have left the world? Both my hand and my leg. I don't like Satan. But how many of you know that if Satan was removed from this world, some of us will become another Satan? What is the number one nature of Satan? Pride and lying. And let me tell you, once you are prideful, you will be a good liar. And once you are a good liar, you are a proud person. Two of them go hand in hand. Because it's pride that will make you know the truth. You choose to say a lie. Because to you, if you say the truth, it will humble you. So you formulate a lie. Are you still here? Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time that God allows Satan to buffet us. God allows Satan to try you. This one will not go well with my grace and grace brothers. It will not go well with them. This particular one, where I'm going now, this dimension I'm going, it will not go well with our grace brethren. In the light of the gospel people, scriptural exegesis people, it will not go well. But that is the truth. There is still Satan in the world. And God allowed him. Luke chapter 22 verse 53. When I was daily with you in the temple, you stretched forth no hands against me. But this is your hour and the power of what? Darkness. This is your hour. So there comes the time that God allows Satan. If you're in doubt, ask Job. Who mentioned Job to Satan? Satan or God? Who mentioned Job to Satan? Who introduced Job in the meeting of sons of God in heaven? God. And what was the statement of Satan concerning Job? I believe that Satan will talk like a worry man or Calabar person. Leave that thing. I beg, leave that thing. Baba, leave that thing. Have you not blessed the work of his hands, and all his goods increase in the land? Have you not put your head round about all that he has? Remove the edge and stretch out your hand and strike him and see whether he will not curse you like any other person. What did God say? Satan was inciting God against Job to tell you that God has no hand in any evil that happened to people. God said, I know what you want. Okay, you want to strike him, but you couldn't because I put a hedge. But I will not touch Job. I will not. But I allow you. But don't touch his life. So there's a limit to which Satan can go. Even Satan is limited. Even Otomopo is limited. There's a limit to everything that Satan does. There's a limit. Satan is not limited. There's a limit. There's a limitation placed on witchcraft attack. They can attack this, but they can't touch your life. There's a limit. It's unfortunate that the church have made Satan all powerful. It's not. His power is limited. There's a limit to what devil can do in your life. There's a limit. And guess who controls the limit? God. God said, okay, you can touch anything, but don't touch his life. Satan came again